Yeah, just before I start, I just meant to say that I've left a link in the um, underneath to the full because I put a photo up of Ravi Jayaram shaking Paul Brand's hand from my TV, and I put a link underneath to the actual video of that if anyone wants to watch. But the handshake is on the photo. I'll explain that at the end, but I'm just going to go into a bit about Baby E first. Lucy Letby's case, Baby E, and I'm going to keep this quite short. So I've got a stinking cold, and you know what screens are like. Oh God, when you're not feeling well. But there's something that's been bugging me about Baby E with Lucy Letby and case, and I just what it is, and I don't like to the baby when the mother of Baby has. There's a few articles in the paper that have been saying for quite a while now, a long time ago, when saying that in all the papers, and they all say the same thing. You know, the newspapers these days are all echo, parrot each other, don't they? It's ridiculous. Saying that the mother of Baby was apparently says that she caught Lucy Letby sort of, apparently not literally attacking her baby, but she found it. She said she'd never heard a baby scream like it, and she walked in. She was bringing it some milk, and apparently Lucy was standing there not reacting or something, and the baby was bleeding from the mouth, hemorrhaging, and Lucy was, I don't know, looking through some paperwork or something. And she said she was talking about this moment, I think, from 9 years beforehand. So this was at the Thirl inquiry. She's saying this. But she says she remembers that night as clear as day. Well, it's the night her baby died, so that's not surprising at all that she remembers things clearly, or thinks that she does, because we never do totally, do we? But of course it's going to stand out that night. Now, I'm sure that she's saying what she thinks, but because obviously we know that. But I think the problem is that her thinking will have been coloured by the press and everything. Them everyone's saying that Lucy's a murderer, because what I find odd about this is that she says that it was terrible and Lucy was, obviously had just harmed her baby and it was appalling, and she'll never forget that look on Lucy's face as if she's, done this awful thing and she's just done this. And yet, she can't have really felt that at the time, simply because, well, I don't think so, because later on, when the baby was dead, it was Lucy that dressed the baby. It was Lucy that gave her some kind of memory box. It was all this sort of stuff, and apparently even hugged her and all this stuff. Now, and then the next day, Lucy, and then there was baby, the other baby F, which is the twin. This was one of the twins, E and F. Was around that twin, and then was supposed to have given, that insulin thing to baby F. Well, so if the mother had walked in on baby E and really thought that Lucy was doing something terrible and allowing her baby to basically hemorrhage and not bothering and just die, why on earth did she allow her other twin to stay with that nurse, allow that nurse? Why wasn't she screaming from the rooftops about it and saying, this nurse is just, Now, look, I know it's difficult in hospitals, but these were her twins and babies, and she'd tried for years. They'd tried IVF and everything, and and she's got one twin that she believes apparently that this nurse is trying to harm it, yet she allows the same nurse to be with her other twin the next day. That doesn't ring right to me, because if you really thought someone was trying to harm your baby, you would do anything in the world to get your other baby, surely, the twin, away from there. If you had to grab it and run out of the hospital, you know what I mean? I'm not being like But you would be calling alarm bells. You would be speaking to people. You would be shouting it from the rooftops. And I don't think she did that at the time. I think these memories have come back later because she talks about Lucy being kind and different from other staff, perhaps huggy and all. Why was she allowing her to hug her if she really felt that? I mean, you wouldn't allow someone you thought had done that to hug you. You'd be more likely to turn around and, well, I know I would. I'd be ready to hit them, not, well, more than hit them if I thought them harmed any. If it was my baby, I thought they'd harmed, or God, I mean, if anyone harmed my dog, Christ, I'd go for him, I'm telling you. So a baby, you know what mothers are like with their babies, they don't turn around and let people harm their babies. So, yeah, it's odd, and I think it's the mother's, her thinking. I'm not accusing her of lying. I'm sure she believes what she's saying. It's just that her memories have been coloured by all the media, all the things, that the hospital's saying that she's a murderer, everything else, because this colours people's memories. It makes them think that maybe, let me look back and think there's something that didn't maybe seem that sinister at the time. Maybe it just seemed like a bit of a nurse who was a bit busy and a bit off and a bit, you know how nurses can be in hospitals. Sometimes you try and get their attention and they just haven't got, they're busy and you think, oh God, they're not being particularly nice. Maybe that was her memory of someone that was busy and not really interested and just, stressed perhaps. Perhaps Lucy was stressed, perhaps she was trying to do something and, as that memory has now been coloured by all the press and the hospital saying that she's a murderer into this sort of monster situation where she caught someone potentially having just hurt her baby. So yeah, it doesn't ring true that she then went on to let Lucy dress the baby, do this, do that, and deal with baby F and everything else if she really thought that Lucy was trying to harm a baby. And that's, I think that, and I don't, there's one thing I do agree, and in these same articles that's come out of the Thirlwell inquiry with baby F's mother, because it's been awful for her, because she's got one baby dead and she's got another baby that's now learning disabled or damaged for life probably, and it's terrible for her obviously, but unfortunately that it doesn't help her to know surely that Lucy's murdered them, that these were natural causes, deaths or accidental or negligence or whatever, but it's not. So, but one thing I do agree with this mother is that she says that underneath the, and also that she said, and also I'm getting this from the newspaper, so obviously, I haven't actually read up the Thirlwell inquiry bit on this, but it's all edited anyway. Even what we get from the parents is edited, and the newspapers are given stuff we're not given, but, whatever. But but she also said that, the nurse, and I noticed this when I was reading stuff from the Thirlwell inquiry and reports and memos and things, and there was a lot of text messages between nurses and doctors and people talking about, things out of it. And she was saying she doesn't think that they should be doing this while they're, working and looking after sick people or babies. And I agree. I mean, surely that's working hours, and I'm not just saying that people shouldn't have a break, and that's fine on their break, but they seem to be doing it all the time, and you do wonder. And this was all the nurses, lots of nurses and doctors, okay, not all of them, but probably quite a few of them, and it's and Lucy's not above criticism with that. We shouldn't. I don't. What's the word? Glorify anyone. I think part of the problem is with the NHS is that historically we've all called them all angels, which is utterly ridiculous. They're not all angels. They're human beings, everyone else doing a job. And I think if you call people angels, it's then very quickly to bring them right down to demon. And they're not angels and they're not demons. They're just ordinary people trying to do a very difficult job. And I don't think that texting and that when you're supposed to be looking after babies is really is safe really for the it's not. I've seen on wars when they're all having fun and love, and they do have to have they probably need to de-stress, but endless texts and that, and Lucy's not above criticism with that as well, and she was part of that, but they're all doing that, but that doesn't make her a murderer, does it? So that's and the other thing that I'm going to put up here, hopefully, if I get the word of this video out, is Because normally I do this on Substack, but I can't be bothered to write and look at a computer screen at the moment with my so I've got cold. So, but is Ravi Jayaram one of the reasons one of the first reasons that I distrusted Ravi Jayaram was because I'd already, I think, come across him in terms of the whole COVID thing, right? And his TV doctor stuff. And, you know, that program he did, Born Naughty, I'd come across him with other stuff, which was to do with Freemasonry and stuff like that, which I was suspicious about, you know, various pictures. And I think I did an article, I'm not sure if I still got it on there, about various other people. He had a colleague, I think it's Dawn Harper, and it was sort of in her ex-husband, a few things there going on that I just found suspicious about. You know, I was looking at websites and things, her website in particular, and I just thought, these are TV doctors, you know. I think she's another one, you know. And then I saw him interviewed, and apart from his body language, which I did an article on that very early on about the body language, and it was just such a giveaway, very, very dishonest. Although you can't be 100% certain, okay, anyway, because people have a different base level with body language. So if you don't know someone's base level, you can't be sure. That you might look at them and think, well, they're definitely lying. But if you don't know their base level, but with Ravi Jayaram, you know, there was a bit of a base level. But, you know, I mean, you've seen sort of videos of him on telly, but even so, it was so strongly dishonest body language. But I can never be 100%, but he's not somebody I would ever trust at all. And I wrote about why I distrusted what he's saying, his body language. And then I saw him walk into the room and shake the hand of, I think it's Paul Brand, that ITV interviewer, to sit down and be interviewed by ITV. I think it was after Lucy was convicted, and he wanted to do his glory moment on, look at me, I'm the great guy who's saved the world from a serial killer nurse bollocks, you know. And that handshake between him and Paul Brand, yeah, well, I put a clip up of that handshake, and you can watch the video if you want, but, you know, it speaks for itself, the handshake, if you look closely at it. And that's why I thought, oh, yeah, you know, we all know what, you know, who's pulling your strings, Ravi Jayaram, it's bloody obvious. Anyway, all right, I'll leave it there, and, yeah, any comments on that baby E thing would be, you know, or anything else would, you know, what other people think about that. And I'm not criticising the parents. I don't, you know, because I have seen some sort of people do that, and it's ridiculous. The parents are victims in this too. They're victims in this too. They've been appallingly treated by the hospital, and then they're not. We can't be sure what they think. We can't be sure what they feel, because all we're getting is second-hand solicitors talking for them, lawyers talking for them. You know, and you can't trust lawyers. You can't trust the media. So we don't know what they think. There may be some of them who even think that Lucy is not guilty. You know, because they're, you know, they're gagged, aren't they? Because the the establishment are terrified of what they might say. You know, so all right then. I'll leave it there. Thanks. Bye.